Tēnā koutou katoa, and greetings to everybody. This is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor. As those of you who keep following me and my video blogs know, I love giving information and advice about moving to New Zealand on a temporary or on a more permanent basis. And it's been a lot of joy to make these videos and put them out there and give some good information, and also we follow it up with services from my company to help you to move to New Zealand. I'm going to talk to you today about the big earthquake we had yesterday in New Zealand. Besides other information I give about migration and other aspects of moving to New Zealand, I also like to talk about everyday life in New Zealand, so that it also gives you an insight into what are the kind of things that you can experience once you come here to New Zealand. Now, yesterday we had a big earthquake here in New Zealand. It was a 7.5 on the Richter scale, which is considered severe in on the scale of intensity. And this happened in the South Island of New Zealand. I live in the North Island of New Zealand in a town called Hamilton, and we obviously didn't have a very large impact, but there was a little bit of a shake anyway for us as well. It was midnight, and I was I think I had fallen asleep in front of my television while watching something, and around midnight I heard this loud creaking sound of the house, which was a bit more than the normal creaking sounds that the house makes. And I got up and I felt it all a little unsteady, and my first reaction was that I had too much to drink, and then I realized I had only had a couple of glasses of red wine, so it couldn't have been that. And so I did take a few steps towards the bedrooms where my wife and kids are sleeping, and by the time my wife got up as well, and she also realized there was something wrong, because she heard the sound of loud splashing of water, and that was the splashing of the water from our neighbor's swimming pool, and so that's what woke her up. And we both looked at each other, and we realized that there was an earthquake, and we did immediately what we have been trained to do, drilled to do in New Zealand when there is an earthquake, which is to drop, cover, and hold. So that is a drill that you need to do, which is to drop yourself onto the ground, cover yourself with something on top of you, like a sturdy table or other furniture, and hold your neck and hold yourself down till the shaking stops. So we went into the bedroom, made sure that the kids were quickly pulled under the bed, and we did all the drop, cover, hold, and in a couple of minutes it subsided, it went away. So that was our experience about the earthquake as far as living in Hamilton was concerned. So we immediately went online to check what had happened, and then we realized that there was an earthquake that happened, and the intensity was quite a bit. And so it was midnight, of course, but only in the morning is when we came to know the real intensity. The earthquake had occurred around a town called Kaikoura, which is in the South Island, and it was quite intense around those parts. Thankfully, there wasn't a lot of damage of life. I mean, of course, each life lost is very, very unfortunate, and there were 2 lives that were lost. One was attributed directly to the earthquake, and this happened inside an old sort of building, which was a heritage structure, and that collapsed, and one young person unfortunately got caught in the debris, and that person died. And there was another death which they attribute not directly to the earthquake, but that somebody suffered a heart attack because of all the events that occurred after the earthquake, the sheer stress of having to deal with the earthquake perhaps. So that's what happened. And so while it was a big earthquake, the loss of life was very, very minimal, and I think largely it is attributed to the fact that there are strong building compliance codes where the government knows that we lie on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is that highly active seismic region of the world, which is not just New Zealand but also covers Indonesia and Philippines and Japan, and circles around that way, and covers Alaska and the west coast of America, including cities like Seattle and San Francisco, and goes further down south into South America along that ridge of those Andes mountains. So that's called the Ring of Fire, and New Zealand happens to be on that Ring of Fire as well, and which is the reason why we have such spectacular landscapes here in this country in terms of we have volcanoes, we have the Southern Alps, we have huge mountains, we have geysers, hot water geysers coming out of the earth, and there's Rotorua, which has got the boiling mud. So it makes us into a very unique geological phenomenon, and but the risk is always there that we will continue to experience these little earthquakes, and every once in a while there's going to be a big one as well. So just want to let you know that living in New Zealand in this region, we are aware of it, and the government consistently keeps ensuring that safety standards are adhered to in the case of natural disaster, especially where it pertains to earthquakes and tsunamis, which can result as part of an earthquake. So there is a good civil defense system. Their children are trained in their schools to do the drop, cover, hold. We are all advised to have one emergency pack for any eventuality. So the country is geared up mentally. It's not something that we will not be able to face. And the government also thankfully has got surplus in its budget. So there's going to be some repair work and rebuilding work, but I'm sure they will get back to it in right earnest. An interesting phenomenon after the earthquake was that one of our construction companies' shares went up almost overnight. That's because people now do anticipate the fact that there's going to be some rebuilding and repair work that's going to go on. So, and this is a large company, and the people do expect it to get a lot of the contracts to do that. So automatically the share prices went up. So, and it's also from a migration perspective, it's a great time for people who are in the civil engineering or highway construction kind of a background to consider coming to New Zealand, because there's going to be plenty of work that is going to happen in relation to the earthquake that has happened. So it's not always a gloomy, dark picture. And like I said, the loss of life was very, very minimal. Repair work has started underway. The entire community pitched in. People were pitching in to help the stranded tourists, take them out and get them back to safety. One of our all-time greats in the sports arena, called Richie McCaw, who is the former captain of the All Blacks rugby team, he was one of the persons who was also flying in and in his chopper and and helping people to be evacuated from the most struck areas. So overall, the country is coming together very well. Another very funny incident was that in Wellington, which also experienced, which is the capital city, a lot of people rushed into the Parliament building of New Zealand, because the Parliament building is considered one of the safest structures built to withstand an earthquake. So there were people in pajamas and the night clothes who ran into the Parliament building to take shelter. And one German tourist was saying that he came to New Zealand but never expected that he would go to Parliament in his pajamas. So and that was quite funny to read in the newspaper. So it was not a great day for us. It was obviously something that shook us all up quite a bit. But at the same time, the resilience of the country, the organization of the country, and the common spirit of the common person has come out to the fore. And we're getting on and moving on, and life goes on as usual. Natural disasters are a phenomenon that can occur anywhere, anytime. It is not something unique to New Zealand. Yes, I do accept the fact that we are prone a bit more to earthquakes, but if you look at the history of the country, it is not something that has devastated the country as such. So I encourage people who are considering to come here not to lose heart and think that somehow that all these earthquakes are directed only at you in particular. Life goes on, everybody moves on. New Zealand continues to be one of the most fascinating and one of the most desirable destinations on earth. So don't let this earthquake shake up your confidence in a destination as beautiful as New Zealand. Continue to think actively and proactively about making New Zealand your new home, temporarily or permanently. And there are people like us at AJB who are more than happy to help you to come to New Zealand and make this your new home. Hope that was a good first-hand experience of the earthquake we had here yesterday. Like I said, life goes on. Everything is getting back up to normal, and we are gearing up to deal with the aftermath of the earthquake. And for those of you who are going to be here with us very, very soon, very, very warm welcome, and we hope to see you soon. Please leave your comments below the video, and I'd be happy to provide any answers that you might want. And thank you once again for watching and listening to my videos. I hope they are useful and will help you to make a decision. Thank you very much. Kia ora.